back to our podcast. My name's Ashley. I'm the owner of Grace and Goods Boutique.
And I am Shelby, the owner of the Ari Event Studio.
And this is the Business Besties Podcast.
Okay, so today
You're so cute.
I'm so excited because my really good friend Bethany is here with us. So she is a photographer here in Fort Wayne. And I have gotten to work with you over the last 5 or 6 years between the boutique and then here with the Ari, and you've been a big supporter of mine. And so I'm so excited to kind of dive in and dig a little bit deeper into your history and what you do as a small business owner here, how you help other people. So thank you for being on the show.
Yes, I'm so excited.
And we're so excited to have you.
Yes,
I'm grateful.
Bethany, my burning question for you, because I follow you and I know we've worked together as well, but you are a jack of all trades when it comes to photography. You don't zone in on one thing. You do families, you do branding, you do it all. So why do you choose to do that instead of niche down like most photographers do?
You know, a jack of all trades, what's a trade, right? A trade is, I don't know, maybe you're a nurse, maybe you're a doctor, or maybe you're an electrician or whatever. Those are trades, I think, or
Titles.
I don't know, titles, whatever. I'm just I'm a photographer. That's what I do. I don't, I guess, personally feel like you have to have a specific, department in photography that you quote unquote specialize in. I feel like I'm super adaptable. And so for me, that's just what I kind of pride myself in, is that I am able to do newborn pictures and feel comfortable. I'm able to shoot your wedding. I'm able to do branding. I'm able to capture family pictures.
You can do it all as a family grows, as a person grows, right? Because if you specialize in just senior photos, okay, so I hire you to do my senior photos, and that's then that's it. But but then eventually, hopefully I'm going to get married, or hopefully I'm going to have children, or hopefully they're going to graduate. So I think that's super important, and I think that's your niche.
Yes,
is being able to do it all. Where some people enjoy just doing weddings.
Yeah, I have always strive to build relationships with my clients, and that's super important to me. And so continuing those relationships from wherever we kind of began is what I really love to do. So so that's why I don't niche down.
It speaks to your confidence in your trade, because a lot of photographers are afraid to do weddings, or they don't feel comfortable doing newborns.
I was gonna say newborns. That's one of the big things. And what's crazy is I started out as a newborn photographer. That's where my journey began. Was two sisters out in California when I was living out there. They were pregnant at the same time, and I captured both of them together, and then both of them individually, and and then they had their babies, and then I did their newborn pictures, and then one of them, both of them shared quite a bit, and that's how my business kind of began growing. But one of the sisters shared with her mommy group, and then I ended up doing 24 sessions from that one referral, and have maintained a handful of those relationships since they were born. And this was 2006.
Wow. And now we're here 20 years later.
Yeah,
19.
Yeah, 19. Coming up 19. Isn't that crazy?
So because you do all of the things, do you have one that is your favorite? Do you prefer newborn photos over wedding photos or graduation or senior photos? Do you have a favorite?
I figured this question was going to come up, but I've been asked this before, and I just really don't.
Yeah, you just love them all.
I don't. I just honestly, I don't. I
just love your clients
if I can
in general.
Pick,
so it's whatever your client need, I'm here. I'm good.
I love the fact that these photos are going to outlive me,
Cool.
that they are going to be hopefully dug up, and maybe people aren't printing them as much anymore. Hopefully they're still saving them, and they're like in the cloud somewhere, and they can pull them up and show them to their grandchildren, for years to come. Like, that is, like, honestly, I feel like that's what drives me a lot, is just knowing that those images are going to be a legacy.
Yeah.
Moved here from California, correct?
Yes, I did. I grew up here. Well, I grew up outside of Fort Wayne, but I met my husband, and he is from California. So I moved out there and lived out there from 1996 to 2012, and then moved back to this area. Yeah.
So you had to kind of start your clientele over. How would you tell other people?
Yeah. So I had my business 6 years out in the Sacramento area, and then when I moved here, yeah, it was completely, starting over. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard in the beginning. It was hard. I didn't even feel like I was a photographer for about the first 3 years of living here, because I didn't have the same amount of clients that I had out in Sacramento.
How did you build your clientele back up from scratch?
Oh my gosh.
You're
Okay.
fine.
Yeah. How did I build my clientele back up? It was just from meeting people. I think over the course of living here for a few years and doing sessions here and there, and then kind of the word just grew. Basically, I've always kind of modeled my business by word of mouth, and that's, like I shared earlier, how it began out in California. And then once I started getting a few clients here in Fort Wayne, then that's basically what started, is just word of mouth.
Because obviously, over there you have, like, you're an experienced photographer. You're coming from a whole different state, and you're now trying to tell these people, like, hey, I've been doing this. We have a whole different clientele over there that has trusted you. And again, like I said, when you use somebody as a senior shoot and then eventually get married and use the same photographer over and over. And so, now you're coming here and having to rebuild that entire clientele from scratch.
Yeah.
So word of mouth, and, trying to get these people to understand, like, no, I do know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I've already got an experienced business,
I was just new to the area.
Yeah.
But, it was a little bit challenging breaking into the mold of, just being a new business owner in, like, Fort Wayne, and not having a brick and mortar, and I didn't have a place for somebody to find me. So
it is word of mouth or social media, or
yes.
Get yourself out there. So right now in your business, how long have you been here in Fort Wayne with your current photography business?
13 years.
13
so
years.
I have now been in Fort Wayne longer than I had my business out in California.
So what would you say now is the most challenging part of your business? So I feel like there's a lot of photographers in Fort Wayne, and we've talked a lot about on our podcast, collaboration, over competition, but even just in general, I feel like is definitely a lot of competition. So being different is definitely important. I don't know if that has any challenging aspects of it, or
I mean, I feel like probably social media is going to be my biggest challenge, even though I feel like I'm pretty good at social media. But yeah, I mean,
it is constantly changing.
Just reaching new people on social media, I still feel like word of mouth is my best friend.
Yeah.
And I have so many loyal local clients that when there's what's up Facebook page, things to do in Fort Wayne, or the Fort Wayne Mom Group, somebody will post. Yeah, people are recommending me, so I find that's like super helpful. But I would just say social media probably is. I see clients tagging me, which is always so.
That's
always
exciting.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially when it's a person you don't know.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like a person that you don't know or maybe have never worked with before
Yeah.
is like tagging you.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
I'm a celebrity.
Yeah, it's like that's so exciting. Yeah.
Oh.
So you've had a long career in photography. Do you have a favorite moment or maybe a milestone that sticks out to you?
Favorite moment. Oh my gosh, there's so many. There honestly truly is so many. I feel like for me, COVID I know was like a big thing for businesses, and it shut a lot of businesses down. That is actually when my business, for my destination work, actually grew a lot. So I feel like some of my favorite moments have been when people trust me enough to not only invest in me, but invest in me to take me somewhere. To
that special moment.
Right. So I mean those always like kind of hold a little extra special place in my heart. Even though everybody holds a special place in my heart. When you step in front of my camera, I've always said like you'd like become my family, because I feel like being in front of the camera is you're vulnerable. You know, like you don't know what you're looking like. Just like I don't know what I'm looking like sitting here, but
my husband hates it, and I make him do it anyways.
But you're just, you're vulnerable, and you're trusting the person that is capturing you to
tell you what to do, tell you what to look like, tell you how to pose.
Yeah.
Or we're trusting you with our lives here.
Or just I mean
we really are.
Truly. Like, and going back to the legacy. So if these images are becoming a legacy, like, you're trusting me like with that. And so that's
I think that's a really special part of your job.
Another favorite thing.
So I know that recently you've been expanding a little bit more into branding. So as a business owner who is looking to invest in more branding, what would be one piece of advice that you would give to them that like maybe they don't know where to start? And I know we've talked about this, how important it is, and the value, no matter sometimes the cost, it is important to invest in that because the return on it is so important. So what would one piece of advice be that you would give to somebody who is starting off new?
Do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't want to date myself, but maybe, do you guys remember catalogs?
Yeah.
Yeah. JCPenney catalog.
I mean, obviously catalogs still come. I just got an altered state catalog.
Yeah, at Christmas time, catalog.
The Amazon. Or even now, like Amazon catalog, right? Comes, or Target catalog comes. And how do you see the things that you might want to purchase, you know? You're going to see it on maybe a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad, or you're going to see a friend talk about it, or maybe you're getting an email, but still, even in that email, it's an image. It's an image that somebody took. Like, if you're not investing in that type of marketing, because images sell, and if you're not investing in that, then I don't know what you're doing.
I mean, it's kind of like, okay, so I'm a boutique owner. How many boutiques are out there? Thousands. How do you stand out from the crowd?
Yeah.
And how do you do that? Hire a photographer. You have to spend the money on branding.
Yes.
Photography.
You do. But I have monthly branding packages.
I know. So that's my next question. So do you have monthly branding packages for business owners?
Yes.
This is something new for you. So I'm really excited for you to share.
Yeah. It is. I mean, doing branding work is not necessarily new to me. I want to say the first branding shoot I ever did was with a lawyer group out in San Francisco, and they wanted to stand out. And I remember they didn't want the typical super, I guess, stiff,
headshots,
professional, right. So we ended up going downtown San Francisco, and we climbed up on top of this like rooftop, and there, you could see the city skyline, you could see billboards and things like that were kind of in the background of them, just to be different. But locally now, I really love working with small businesses, and because I think it is important for them to have access to good photography. I've made a monthly branding package that should fit everyone's budget. And whether you're looking to do just something really small monthly, or if you need more monthly, then there's 3 different packages.
Kind of adjust, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing I've always appreciated about you is just like the way you don't mind speaking up. I've worked with several photographers, and I love that you are so good at giving direction, and you force us to be out of the box. Whereas like my comfort zone might be here in this corner in front of this black screen, and you're like, yeah, but I think you would look really good in front of this window, or over here holding this. And so I've always appreciated that from you. I will never forget one at the boutique when you did our intern's senior photos, and she was sitting on the top of a bus, and I was like, that is just like the coolest thing ever. Like I did my senior photos like this on the ground in front of a blue screen, and I was like, this girl's out here in the cool outfit on top of a bus.
Yeah, we did.
So I think your ideas are just amazing. So I think that fits really good into, because you have to think outside of the box to stand apart from everybody else.
One thing that one of my followers actually wrote me last night after posting, I don't know if you all follow my stories, then you see that I share quite a bit. But she wrote me and she said, I love how unique every single session is that you share. And I don't know, like that.
Because you're not just doing the same thing over and over. I feel like you get to know your clients and what fits them, and that's what makes every shoot different. And again, that's what makes it outside of the box and that branding. So
yeah,
I think that's kind of back when we asked you what makes you stand out from other photographers.
I think that's
you're a chameleon.
Yeah.
You get to know your client, and then you kind of just you're so creative that you can bounce off of their personality and their You did our photo shoot for this podcast, and you absolutely nailed it.
Yeah. And it was so different than anything else we've seen out there.
Yeah.
It was just you were there, and you were down to do all the things.
Thank you.
So
I think that visuals are back to investing in photographs. We can all take a picture on our iPhone, but is it going to look as good and professional? So it's definitely worth the money. For sure. So besides photography, do you have any other hobbies or special interests, or maybe hidden talents?
Hidden talent. Well,
she's a good cook. I see it on it.
I mean, well, I can't. I definitely can't sing. Like,
Let's hear it. No.
and I don't.
Got a mic. Let's see.
I don't play instruments. I love thrifting. I mean, I don't know. I love thrifting.
Do you flip anything that you thrift?
I used to. I actually used to have a booth at Vintage Treasures.
I love that store.
Yeah.
I didn't know it existed until right before Christmas. Somebody told me.
Yeah.
And I went in there, and I was in there, I'm pretty sure, for 3 hours. I don't think I bought anything, but I was just looking around. It was so cool.
Actually just came from there to come over here because I was looking for some things to set my Easter table. I mean, I guess that would be another thing I love to do. I love to create during any holiday, a beautiful display. Yeah, beautiful table setting. And so I was over there looking for some little vintagey Easter things. I got a couple things of Vintage Treasures, but I actually went to the Franciscan thrift store and I found a really cool vintage Easter tablecloth that is in really, really, really good condition. So I love doing that. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I feel like that eye for creativity with the tablescapes even carries over then into your photography. I know when we created here at the RE with tablescapes and stuff, you positioned me certain ways. You're like, put this over here, put that over there. So I think it all ties in together with your creative brain for sure. So
Thank you.
So I have one last question, and I know I have brought this up to you many times, and I'm going to try to say this in the elucidated way. But we have grown up in different generations.
Yes.
And I feel like we grew up in a very, when we were teens, social media and computers and things like that were really coming up. So we've grown up with that, and we've learned that along the way. But for somebody who is maybe in the next generation past ours, learning social media, what is some advice that you can give to somebody who is in a business, a boutique or whatnot? Social media is where it is now for advertising. And you are so good at social media. And I know I've told you this so many times that I don't look at you as the next generation after mine because I feel like you are just on top of all the trends. So what would be some advice that you would give to somebody who would maybe be in that same age range as a business owner to not get frustrated, and you can do it and you can learn it? What have been some tips that have worked for you?
I mean, for me, I'm just the type of person I just go for it. I just do it. And if you don't feel like confident doing it or comfortable doing it, then you need to hire someone to do it for you.
Because it is important.
Because like I have worked with, I've done some branding for some other businesses that don't have an Instagram presence. And I tried to stress how much, how important that is. And if you don't want to learn it, if you don't feel confident, then you need to hire someone. I don't know. For me, I don't know how I guess I just learned by just doing it. But
I feel like you're so confident when you're on it, and you do an amazing job, and I feel like you keep up with the trends. So I feel like it's very inspirational to just everybody in general. But, even, business owners in your generation, that like it is possible to learn and it is possible to do. Just getting on there and just being yourself, which I think is what you do very well. And so maybe it just comes a little bit more naturally. But I think it is an inspiration, that all people of all ages can be on social media.
I mean, without it, like I always say that social media is your commercial, and it like, I mean, obviously TV isn't going to go away. People still watch TV and you still watch commercials. I mean,
well, when a commercial comes on, you know what I do?
Not
I
much.
pick up my phone and I'm scrolling.
Right.
I don't watch the commercials.
You probably don't even watch it very much. Or, I mean, our family doesn't watch much TV because we're all on Hulu and, Netflix and things like that, where there really aren't any very commercials.
Yeah. But even again, I mean, when you have the ads, the second an ad comes on, I'm like, okay, what's on my phone?
Yeah.
And, for now, I mean, I know there's paid sponsorships and things like that on social media. But for now, social media is still free.
I was about to say, what's nice
is your commercial.
Social media is free.
You're not having to pay to put something in the newspaper or on a billboard or whatnot. And so I think that is the thing right now.
Going back to what we said in like our first episode, somebody doesn't register what they're seeing until the third or fifth time they see it. So if you do TV or newspaper or magazine, how many times are you going to front that $1,000 to get your ad?
You have to pick up a new magazine 5 times to see it.
Post on Facebook and Instagram.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, I think if you're not, if you're not wanting to dive into doing it yourself, you definitely need to be hiring somebody to do it, to do that for you and to be that voice for you, because otherwise you're leaving money on the table. You're
leaving a lot of clients on the table.
I'm like, I don't know.
I think your generation and after your generation,
a lot of them only know how to use Facebook.
Yes, I mean, I'm on both platforms and TikTok. I am not as active on TikTok as I am Instagram. I would say Instagram is probably where I am the most active, followed up by Facebook. I would say people in your generation to my generation are on Facebook. You girls are on Facebook.
Yeah.
Younger than your generation,
Oh,
like
No
my
Facebook.
kids,
It's
they're
between Instagram and
TikTok. Yeah,
Yes.
they're really not on Facebook.
So I don't love TikTok. Like
Yeah.
I have to force myself to post on TikTok. But for whatever reason, Instagram just comes so naturally to me, and then I'm thankful that Instagram just automatically posts.
I know why. I know why you like Instagram.
Why do I love
You're
Instagram?
a type A perfectionist, and I think Instagram's more of that, like everything's perfect and looks neat.
That must be why I like Instagram.
Yeah. And I'm like, TikTok, I have to do all these extra things, and like, I don't know. It just seems like so much extra where I'm just like, TikTok seems so much extra where I'm just like, Instagram, I can do it. It automatically goes to Facebook. That's two platforms for the effort of one.
Yes.
And then I'm like having to download and then go to TikTok or find the sound and recreate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was on TikTok, I built it up. I mean, I literally only have like, I don't even know, 1,700 followers.
Well, I have like 120.
So on TikTok, like, but it's literally because I probably stopped being super active on TikTok in 2022. It's been like 3 years. I did book a Las Vegas wedding from TikTok.
Yeah. Okay. That's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they saw another Las Vegas wedding that I had done. They actually lived in Kentucky. And based on that TikTok, we FaceTimed and they liked me. And then they flew me out to Vegas.
So I feel like the platform also has to do with the type of business you have, where like you're trying to reach everybody in the US, boutiques, right? So like we want to reach all those other people, which I think Instagram can do that. But I also feel like a lot of Instagram is a little bit more locally.
Yes.
To where you are, which obviously as the Ari, I'm not going to book somebody in Texas to come have their baby shower here. So I think that's maybe too where I'm reaching more people locally, whereas like with TikTok, you have the platform to maybe reach more. Where it's great for you too with you traveling.
Yeah.
You know, people know that you travel, and same with like obviously boutiques too. You know, you can get orders from all over.
I would say most of my online orders come from TikTok. I'd say like 80%.
You want to go back and do some more TikTok?
I'm a big TikTok supporter. I love TikTok.
So I've gotten more into it now with Ari, and with my daughter, because I follow another mom who's here locally, and she has a big TikTok presence. And I know when TikTok was getting closed down, she was really worried because she was like, I feel like it's my creative freedom to be there and not be judged. And she was so frightened to go to Instagram and still put out that creativity and not be judged, because on Instagram it is more local. It is people you know, it's your family, same with Facebook. And so I think TikTok is a little bit easier to put your creative and your silliness and your weirdness out there.
Yeah.
And maybe not be so judged.
Like it would be.
You just post it to Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I would say most of my reels are, you know, behind the scenes of like what I'm doing or the client I'm working with, maybe what we did during their photo shoot, or, you know, just wedding ideas, branding ideas, things like that is usually what I put on Instagram.
Yeah.
Wedding behind the scenes are always like fun because you get to see, you know, kind of what's going on, and then you get inspiration for maybe your wedding.
All rainbows and butterflies, and we've talked about that. You know, there's a lot of behind the scenes things, and you know, I know when we've done photo shoots together for the boutique, we always take behind the scenes.
Yeah,
and we always show that because it's like you got clothes everywhere, and you got the wrong size on. You can't zip up your pants. Someone's sweating. Someone's crying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's all the things, and it's not
craziness.
just perfection that we so often see on social media. Like we are all real people, and so it's nice to be able to show that authenticity on social media as well. And I think that's how we get a lot of our connections.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that's actually why I named my business Real Living Photography. Was because literally 19 years ago, it wasn't as popular as it is today to be real in front of the camera and to be more authentic in front of the camera. It was still going to Sears and JCPenney's, and I don't know if you had a Picture People here, but Picture People was in the mall out in California, and they had backdrops, paper backdrops. The most popular was white, but they also had different colors. And basically, you come in and you sit on the paper backdrop and you know, with your family, and
Every
that's
family
your-
does the same
yeah.
10 poses.
I'm
Literally.
like, even when Ari was,
Literally.
my daughter was born, you know, she's 9 now. So when she turned 1, I went to JCPenney's, and that's where I had her first pictures taken.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she had her cute little outfit. We had the little crate. We had the wooden number 1.
Yeah.
And she cried, and we took a bunch of pictures.
Yeah.
And now I love it when I see like the newborn photos in the home, or the maternity photos in the home.
Yeah.
Or, you know, standing on top of the parking garage in downtown Fort Wayne.
Yeah, that very first maternity shoot I did with those 2 sisters was at one of their houses. So, I mean, she had a really beautiful brown leather couch, and you know, she was literally laying on the couch, you know, with her belly out, and and I took my I did kind of bring a black cloth backdrop to people's houses with a big softbox when I would do newborn stuff, because a lot of the times I would do black and white, more black and white than color at that time. So I would bring that for them, but they didn't have to leave their house. They didn't have to take their baby anywhere.
That's huge.
Yeah, I've since transitioned. Like, I do not bring backdrops. Nope.
It's just all real living.
Your home is your thing, but that's, I don't know.
That can make the pictures more timely and more special. Not only is it photos of your loved ones, but also maybe it's that old house you lived in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the legacy.
Yeah.
So that was our last question. Do you have any?
Follow me on the gram.
Yeah.
We will tag you in our post when we get this posted. And like I said before, I think you're such an inspiration as a person, as a photographer, as a friend.
Thank you.
So I can't recommend you enough. Anybody who's looking for branding, especially, but also just anything.
Yeah. Thank you so much, girls.
Yes, of
I'm so
course.
excited.
If you have any questions for Bethany, make sure you comment those below, and make sure to go follow her on Instagram. We will tag her. And if there's anything specific you want to hear about, or anyone you want us to have on, please comment that below as well. And then like and subscribe. We will see you next Monday at 8 a.m.
See ya.